Welcome to Sri Lanka. Every corner of this tropical paradise tells a story, and every temple holds secrets of an ancient civilization. In 2023, 1.5 million tourists visited this country. But what draws travelers to this teardrop-shaped island in the Indian Ocean? Perhaps it's the majesty of Sigiriya, where an ancient palace sits atop a dramatic rock fortress rising from the jungle. Or maybe it's the endless waves of emerald tea plantations in Nuwara Eliya, where mists roll over hills that seem to touch the sky. Sri Lanka sits like a jewel in the Indian Ocean, a land where nature and history create perfect harmony. It's a place where every sunrise brings new wonder. Whether you're seeking ancient wisdom or natural beauty, Sri Lanka's treasures will leave you with memories that last a lifetime. So how well do you know this island paradise? Here's a quick question. Which Sri Lankan site is known as the eighth wonder of the world? Write your answer in the comments below. Before we begin our journey through this magical island, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming videos. Now, let's begin our journey through this remarkable country and discover its most wonderful places. Sigiriya, the Lion Rock. Sigiriya is one of humanity's most remarkable achievements. Rising from the Central Plains, this ancient rock fortress stands as proof to the ingenuity and artistry of Sri Lanka's ancient civilization. As you approach Sigiriya, you'll be struck by its sheer presence, a massive column of rock rising 200 meters into the sky, crowned with the ruins of an ancient palace. The name Lion Rock becomes clear when you reach the northern entrance, where enormous lion paws carved from rock guard the final ascent to the summit. But this isn't just any fortress. It's one of the finest examples of urban planning from the ancient world. Walking through the water gardens at the base, you'll notice the sophisticated hydraulic systems that still function after 1,500 years. These symmetrical gardens, with their fountains and pools, show remarkable engineering skill. During the rainy season, they still come alive with flowing water, just as they did in ancient times. As you begin your ascent, you'll pass through terraced gardens that seem to merge with the natural rock, creating a seamless blend of human creativity and natural beauty. Halfway up, you'll encounter one of Sigiriya's most famous features, the mirror wall and the ancient frescoes. These colorful paintings of celestial maidens have survived for over 15 centuries. The mirror wall was once polished so smoothly that the king could see his reflection in it. Now it bears witness to ancient visitors through their graffiti, some dating back to the 8th century. The final ascent takes you between those massive lion paws, a climb that rewards you with one of Sri Lanka's most breathtaking views. Standing at the top of the flat summit, you can see for miles across the jungle canopy. The foundations of the palace complex still remain, and as you walk among them, you can imagine the grand chambers and royal quarters that once stood here. At sunset, the whole site takes on a golden glow, and you understand why this place was chosen for a palace fit for gods. Located in the hills by a peaceful lake, Kandy has a regal and holy atmosphere. As you approach the temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic, you'll notice how the white structure stands in contrast to the deep green hills surrounding it. This temple, known as Sri Dalada Maligawa, houses Sri Lanka's most important Buddhist relic, a tooth of the Buddha himself. The temple complex is a place of profound spiritual significance, where daily rituals have been performed for centuries. Walking through the temple grounds, you'll be struck by the sense of devotion that fills the air. The sweet smell of incense mingles with the fragrance of temple flowers as devotees make their offerings. In the main shrine room, gold caskets house the sacred relic, while wood carvings and painted murals tell stories from Buddhist scripture. The famous Esala Perahera festival transforms Kandy into a spectacular display of Sri Lankan culture every year. For 10 nights, illuminated elephants parade through the streets, accompanied by traditional dancers, drummers, and fire performers. This ancient tradition celebrates the Sacred Tooth Relic and provides one of Asia's most magnificent cultural spectacles. Beyond the temple, Kandy's charm lies in its living culture. The Royal Palace Park offers peaceful walks along the lake, where you can watch white egrets glide across the water as the sun sets behind the hills. Visit the nearby spice gardens to learn about Ceylon's famous cinnamon and other aromatic treasures that once drew traders from across the ancient world. Nuwara Eliya. Next up, we'll climb higher into Sri Lanka's misty highlands to reach Nuwara Eliya, a slice of England nestled in the tropics. At an elevation of nearly 2,000 meters, this charming town offers a refreshing escape from the island's tropical heat. As you drive through winding mountain roads, you'll be mesmerized by the endless waves of emerald tea plantations. Perfectly manicured tea bushes carpet the hillsides, creating a patchwork of green that stretches as far as the eye can see. Early morning mists drift across these hills, creating an ethereal landscape that seems to belong in a painting. The colonial influence is immediately apparent in Nuwara Eliya's architecture. Tudor-style hotels and English country houses stand proudly along streets lined with roses and well-tended gardens. The famous Grand Hotel, with its Tudor facade and manicured lawns, takes you back to the height of the British colonial era. But the real treasure of Nuwara Eliya lies in its tea estates. Visit one of the historic tea factories, where age-old traditions of tea processing continue today. Watch as expert tea pluckers move skillfully through the tea bushes, selecting only the finest leaves. Inside the factories, the air is filled with the fresh aroma of Ceylon's finest tea as it moves through the traditional oxidation process. Victoria Park, in the heart of town, offers peaceful walks among flower gardens that bloom spectacularly in spring. The nearby Gregory Lake provides opportunities for boat rides and peaceful picnics with views of the surrounding mountains. For the adventurous, the region offers excellent hiking opportunities. Early morning walks through the tea plantations reward you with stunning sunrise views and the chance to see tea pluckers beginning their day's work. The cool climate makes this the perfect place for outdoor activities, from golf at the historic Hill Club to exploring the nearby Horton Plains National Park. Yala National Park. From the highlands, we now descend to the wild southeastern coast, where Yala National Park showcases Sri Lanka's remarkable biodiversity. This vast wilderness, where dense forest meets golden beaches, is home to the world's highest concentration of leopards. As you enter the park in the early morning, the anticipation builds. Your jeep moves slowly along dusty tracks as the dawn chorus of birds fills the air. Around every corner, there's potential for an unforgettable wildlife encounter. Peacocks dance in morning light, their iridescent feathers catching the sun's first rays. Waterholes draw a parade of wildlife throughout the day. Painted storks walk gracefully through the shallows, while crocodiles bask on sandy banks. Herds of spotted deer move through the grasslands, always alert for predators. But the true kings of Yala are its elephants and leopards. Watch in awe as families of Asian elephants move through the landscape. These magnificent creatures show remarkable social bonds as they protect their young and communicate through subtle gestures and low rumbles. You might see them cooling off in water holes, spraying water over their backs, or teaching young calves how to use their trunks. The leopards of Yala have become legendary. These elegant predators are remarkably adaptive, equally at home in trees or on the ground. Patient observers might be rewarded with the sight of a leopard draped over a branch or moving stealthily through the undergrowth. The park's landscape is as diverse as its wildlife. Ancient Buddhist ruins emerge from the forest, evidence that this wilderness was once home to thriving civilizations. Rocky outcrops provide perfect vantage points for leopards, while coastal areas offer stunning views of the Indian Ocean. At sunset, the light turns golden across the grasslands, creating perfect photo opportunities as animals emerge to feed in the cooling air. Galle. Now we head to the southern coast, where the historic Galle Fort stands as a perfectly preserved colonial treasure. This UNESCO World Heritage Site, built first by the Portuguese and later expanded by the Dutch, tells stories of maritime trade and colonial power. As you walk through the fort's massive gates, you step into a perfectly preserved colonial town. Narrow streets lined with Dutch colonial buildings lead you past elegant mansions, ancient churches, and bustling cafes. The architecture here is a unique blend of European and South Asian styles, creating a character that's distinctly Galle. The fort walls, massive ramparts built to withstand cannon fire, now serve as a perfect promenade. Walking along these walls at sunset, you'll see why this is one of Sri Lanka's most photogenic locations. Watch as the old lighthouse stands guard over fishing boats returning to harbor, their sails catching the evening light. Inside the fort, life moves at a gentle pace. Boutique hotels occupy restored colonial mansions, while artisan shops sell gems, lace, and local crafts. The sound of waves crashing against the ramparts mingles with church bells and the call to prayer from the local mosque, a reminder of the fort's multicultural heritage. The National Maritime Museum tells the story of Galle's seafaring past. Ancient maps and maritime artifacts reveal how this natural harbor became a crucial stop on ancient trade routes. The Dutch Reformed Church, built in 1640, still stands with its original Baroque and ancient gravestones telling stories of long-ago settlers. Modern Galle seamlessly blends history with contemporary culture. Art galleries showcase local talent, while restaurants serve everything from traditional Sri Lankan curry to international cuisine. The annual Galle Literary Festival brings writers and thinkers from around the world to this inspiring setting. Marissa. From historic Galle, we move along the coast to Marissa, where perfect beaches and swaying palms create a tropical paradise. This crescent-shaped beach has become famous for its perfect blend of relaxation and adventure. The day begins early in Marissa, as fishing boats return with their morning catch. At the small harbor, you can watch as fishermen sort through nets filled with tuna, swordfish, and other treasures from the deep. This daily ritual hasn't changed for generations, though now the catch might end up in one of Marissa's excellent seafood restaurants. But Marissa's true magic lies in its whale-watching opportunities. From November to April, the waters off this coast become a highway for blue whales, the largest animals ever to exist on Earth. Setting out early in the morning, boats head into the deep blue waters of the Indian Ocean. The anticipation builds as you scan the horizon for signs of these gentle giants. When a massive spout of water shoots into the air, followed by the graceful arch of a blue whale's back, you'll understand why people travel from across the world for this experience. The beach itself is a perfect crescent of golden sand, framed by swaying coconut palms. During the day, the clear waters invite swimming and snorkeling. The famous Parrot Rock, standing just offshore, provides a perfect photo opportunity and a gorgeous viewpoint for sunset. As evening approaches, the beach takes on a different character. Small bars and restaurants set up tables on the sand, lanterns twinkle in the palms, and the sound of gentle waves creates nature's perfect soundtrack. For surfers, Marissa offers excellent waves, especially at its eastern end. Whether you're a beginner or experienced, local surf schools can help you catch the perfect wave. The warm water and consistent waves make this an ideal spot to learn or improve your surfing skills. Polonnaruwa. Now let's head inland to Polonnaruwa, where the ruins of an ancient kingdom tell tales of Sri Lanka's golden age. This UNESCO World Heritage Site served as the country's capital from the 11th to 13th centuries, and its remains still inspire awe today. As you enter the ancient city, you're immediately struck by the scale of the monuments. The massive dagobas, stupas, rise against the sky, their white domes gleaming in the sunlight. These structures were built with remarkable precision. The Rankot Vihara stands 54 meters tall, each brick placed with perfect alignment that has withstood centuries. The star attraction is the Galle Vihara, where 4 massive Buddha statues were carved from a single granite wall. The reclining Buddha stretches 14 meters long, its serene expression and flowing robes carved with incredible detail. The standing Buddha, reaching towards the sky, shows such perfect proportions that it's considered one of Asia's finest stone sculptures. Walking through the ancient city, you'll discover the Royal Palace complex. The 7-story palace of King Parakramabahu once stood here. Its grand audience halls open to petitioners from across Asia. Today, the thick walls still stand, giving you a sense of the grandeur that once existed. The quadrangle, a compact group of ruins in the ancient city's heart, contains some of Polonnaruwa's finest monuments. The Vatadaj, a circular relic house, represents the peak of ancient Sri Lankan architecture. Its intricate stone carvings and perfectly proportioned design show the remarkable skill of these ancient craftsmen. Nature adds to Polonnaruwa's charm. Troops of toque macaques, made famous by Disney documentaries, move through the ruins. These playful monkeys have lived among the ancient stones for generations, adding life to the historic setting. Near the ancient city, the massive Parakrama Samudra Reservoir still provides water for local farmers. This ancient engineering marvel, built in the 12th century, demonstrates how advanced this civilization was. At sunset, the lake reflects the sky in brilliant colors, while water birds wade along its edges. Adam's Peak. Our journey now takes us to one of Sri Lanka's most sacred mountains, Adam's Peak, known locally as Sri Pada. Rising 2,243 meters into the clouds, this conical mountain has been a pilgrimage site for over 1,000 years. What draws people here? A sacred footprint at the summit, claimed by Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, and Christians as their own. The pilgrimage traditionally begins in the middle of the night. Setting out under a canopy of stars, you join a stream of pilgrims ascending the 5,500 steps to the peak. The path is illuminated by lights, creating a glowing ribbon that winds up the mountainside. The sound of temple bells and Buddhist chants fills the air, adding to the spiritual atmosphere. As you climb higher, you'll notice how the air becomes cooler and crisper. Rest houses along the way provide chances to catch your breath and enjoy a warming cup of tea. Fellow pilgrims offer words of encouragement. Everyone here shares the same goal, creating a unique sense of community. The final stretch is the steepest, but the anticipation of reaching the summit drives you forward. Metal handrails assist your climb as the steps become increasingly vertical. Then suddenly, you're there, standing at the summit of this sacred mountain. The temple at the top houses the sacred footprint, covered in offerings of flowers and coins. But the real magic happens as the sun begins to rise. As the first light appears, the mountain casts a perfect triangular shadow across the misty valleys below. The sunrise from Adams Peak is unlike any other. Watching the day begin from above the clouds is an experience you'll never forget. During the pilgrimage season, December to May, the summit can be crowded with devotees. But this adds to the experience, as you witness the deep spirituality that draws people to this special place. The sound of temple bells, the smell of incense, and the sight of pilgrims in prayer create an atmosphere of profound reverence. Sinharaja Forest Reserve. From sacred heights, we descend into the mysterious depths of Sinharaja, Sri Lanka's last viable area of primary tropical rainforest. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a living laboratory of evolution, where countless species exist nowhere else on Earth. As you enter the forest, the atmosphere changes immediately. The canopy closes overhead, creating a cathedral-like space where shafts of sunlight pierce through layers of green. The air becomes thick with humidity, carrying the sounds of countless birds and insects. This is nature at its most pristine, a glimpse of how Sri Lanka looked millions of years ago. Walking through Sinharaja is like entering another world. Massive trees, their trunks wrapped in lianas and epiphytes, reach towards the sky. Brilliantly colored birds fly through the branches. Watch for the Sri Lanka blue magpie and the red-faced malkoha, found nowhere else in the world. The forest floor is alive with activity as endemic lizards dart between fallen leaves. The biodiversity here is astounding. Over 60% of the trees are endemic to Sri Lanka, and many are extremely rare. Orchids bloom in hidden corners, their exotic flowers adding splashes of color to the green canvas. Purple-faced langurs move through the canopy, while butterflies dance in any patch of sunlight. Local guides who know the forest intimately can help you spot its hidden treasures. They'll point out medicinal plants used for generations and explain how their ancestors lived in harmony with this forest. Listen for the call of the Sri Lanka frogmouth, a mysterious bird that's perfectly camouflaged against tree bark. During the rain, which falls frequently here, the forest takes on a magical quality. Water droplets create countless natural prisms, and the rich earth releases its ancient scents. This is when you might spot some of the forest's 19 endemic amphibian species, each adapted to this unique environment. Trincomalee. Now we move to Sri Lanka's eastern coast, where Trincomalee's natural harbor has attracted seafarers for over 2,000 years. This historic port city combines pristine beaches with ancient temples and colonial forts. The heart of Trincomalee is Fort Frederick, built by the Portuguese and later expanded by the Dutch and British. As you walk through its massive gates, watch for the resident deer that roam freely within the fort's grounds. The road leads uphill to Koneswaram Temple, dramatically perched on a cliff overlooking the Indian Ocean. The Koneswaram Temple, known as the Temple of 1,000 Pillars, has watched over these waters since ancient times. Though much of the original structure was destroyed by the Portuguese, the rebuilt temple maintains its spiritual power. From the temple terrace, you can watch ships entering the natural harbor, just as ancient traders did centuries ago. Trincomalee's beaches are among Sri Lanka's finest. Nillaveli Beach stretches for kilometers, its white sand and clear waters creating a perfect tropical paradise. The waters here are calm from April to October, ideal for swimming and snorkeling. Offshore, Pigeon Island National Park offers some of Sri Lanka's best coral reefs, where you can swim with reef sharks and hundreds of colorful fish. For those interested in marine life, Trincomalee offers excellent whale watching opportunities. Blue whales and sperm whales frequent these waters, especially from March to August. Dolphins are common too, often playing in the bow waves of boats. The town itself preserves its multicultural heritage. Tamil, Sinhalese, and Muslim communities live side by side, their various places of worship adding to the town's character. The market area is a feast for the senses, where you can sample Eastern Sri Lankan specialties and fresh seafood. Horton Plains National Park, high in Sri Lanka's central highlands. Horton Plains National Park offers an otherworldly landscape of misty grasslands and cloud forests. This high-altitude plateau, often shrouded in mist, leads to the famous World's End, where the Earth seems to fall away into nothingness. The journey begins early in the morning as mist rolls across the plains. Sambar deer graze in the grasslands, their forms ghostly in the early light. The air is crisp and cool, carrying the scent of wildflowers and mountain herbs. This is one of Sri Lanka's few places where you might need a sweater, even in daytime. The trail to World's End takes you through varying landscapes. Cloud forest sections are dripping with moisture, their trees covered in moss and lichens. Open plains reveal prehistoric-looking tree ferns and rare orchids. Watch for the Sri Lankan whistling thrush, one of the park's rare endemic birds. As you approach World's End, anticipation builds. Then suddenly the ground drops away, a sheer cliff face plunging 880 meters to the valley below. On clear mornings, you can see all the way to the south coast. The panorama is breathtaking. Tea estates like patchwork quilts in the valleys, mountain peaks piercing through clouds, and layers of hills fading into the distance. The park's other highlight is Baker's Falls, a beautiful waterfall tucked away in a pocket of forest. The sound of rushing water draws you through a landscape that looks more like New Zealand than tropical Sri Lanka. Endemic lizards sun themselves on rocks near the falls, while rhododendrons add splashes of color to the scene. This unique ecosystem is incredibly fragile. Morning frost can occur even though you're in the tropics. The park's plants and animals have adapted to these unusual conditions, creating a biological treasure house that exists nowhere else on Earth. If you enjoyed traveling with us through Sri Lanka, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who loves to explore amazing places. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to join us on more journeys around the world. Leave a comment below telling us which of these beautiful places you'd love to visit first. Remember, the best journeys are the ones we share together. Until our next adventure.